Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be talking about the journey I've been through in my faith, just so I could become the woman that I am today. Basically, I grew up in the church, and as a child I was very much into God. I was very much a child that was interested in Christ and the Bible stories, and let's just say I was always a child that was very intrigued and interested. I would write like little songs, like little gospel songs, reading the children's Bible. Obviously, when your parents buy you the children's Bible, I was really on that. I was really on that. Bedtime, I knew children's Bible is the motive. You get me? And also, just like, I was very much into learning more, because my parents were, especially my dad, he was very interested in learning like histories and stuff. So growing up I really learned a lot about being a believer and being a Christian. I would say that as a child it was more about because my parents were believing, I was believing. It wasn't until I actually came to uni that I then decided to actually have a personal relationship with Christ. Of course, during that time from childhood, like being a child in primary school to uni, I would say like in between that gap a lot happened to me, which I think a lot of what I talk about will become story times later on. But as during my teenage years I was actually quite rebellious. Boys going like arguing with parents, stuff like that. So during that time it was more so about me trying to discover myself and not really involving God. So I went from a child that loved God to a teenager that just wanted to discover life by myself without anybody holding me back. And that's where I hit a lot of roadblocks and a lot of stresses, because I was really trying to do this life by myself. I would say like it was quite tough. Like it was a lot of experiences actually broke me down, actually affected me mentally, emotionally. Like things with friends, with boys, like I said, I think a lot of it was me trying to I was just more of like, God, you're out the picture. It's now time for me to just do it by myself. Like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of mentality I had at the time. I think obviously when I became involved with I think secondary school. I was involved with this one guy that basically shook up everything. I was a Christian, he was an atheist, but it kind of altered the way I saw things because of his ideology. So at some point I really started to question whether God was real, whether Christ was real, whether he actually is there. Because more so for me it was more about I'm following my parents to church. I don't actually have a personal relationship with him, so I didn't really know. I started questioning it. So like during my teenage years it was kind of more about like I want to do what I want to do. So I would really just like not really like listen. I think that's when like teenage years I was really intrigued in different things, like intrigued in certain activities, and I think that really took a toll on me as well as like trying like parties, drinking. At some point and another guy I became involved with when I was like 17. Yeah, 17. He was just like, he was a family friend and stuff, but like I think that at that time it was just more about really trying to understand Christ at the same time. But I was really much playing both sides. I was hot and cold. And the thing is, in the Bible it says you cannot serve two masters, but I was trying to be doing up the world but serving God trying to serve God at the same time, because I was also in like the choir and stuff, and I was really trying to it was me trying to balance both, but I know I couldn't balance both. Because me and that guy, as much as he was a believer as well, we were not. It's true when they say some believers, even though you're a believer and the other person's a believer, you can still be unequally yoked, and we were unequally yoked. We wanted different things, and I think that relationship actually took a toll on me physically, mentally, and physically in a sense of I lost so much weight, and it really started to get me down. And that's when it was God, I want to take you seriously, but I still want to do what I want to do, if that makes sense. So it was like me trying to seek the relationship from Christ, but not actually want to have the commitment in that relationship. So uni came, and I met some girls that actually, you know, I thought, you know, if I actually try and have this mentality, the same mentality as them, I won't end up doing the things that I'm running away from. So I was trying to do that, but really and truly it was not the right way to go, because I wasn't being true to myself. Eventually me and those girls fell out, but as well as that, that also took a toll on me. And at the same time, I was seeing this other guy that I met in uni, and I think at the time whereby like I lost like the group of friends, and I was seeing this guy. At the time I was very much content with seeing this guy actually. I was, but God was like to me at that point, Charlene, I want to actually do something in you, but you have to let me. Like this time it was me and God. It was no pastors were involved, my parents were involved. It was more of, Charlene, I need you to work in my kingdom. And it was at that point I realized that I was really trying to really much juggle the world and God even more. It was more about, I was doing even more worldly things, but still going, like after I would do something, I would now go on my knees and ask for mercy. Do you know what I mean? Like I was doing that even more. Before it was more of like I'm doing small things, like certain activities I should not be doing, and like just like praying here and there. But it became more of like every time I would do something I would ask for mercy, and it was just like a constant pattern of that. I was trying to do things even with the guy involved. I was trying to do things with the guy involved, but it just didn't really work. Like I ended up going, at some point I was like, yes, I want to take God seriously. Like I even had a Bible study with the same girls that I fell out with, but we would still do Bible studies together because we had like a mutual friend. But that mutual friend, she actually she brought her sister for one Bible study, and her sister actually prayed with me, and she really told me like, Charlene, you need to rise up, you need to be strong, you need to be the woman that will impact many. Like you need to be strong. To me at that time I was kind of like, me, a whole me impact people, where? What do you mean? Like I was just like a whole me, dude. Like, but at the same time I saw the intensity. I saw that this is God speaking to me through her. And shout out to you, I'll remember you forever. I wanted to really take God seriously, so at that time I tried to, and I was trying to kind of impart it in like the kind of like situationship I was in as well, which for a while it kind of worked, but then I ended up falling flat on my face, and then I started like doing the same things that I was doing again. So it was just kind of like there was no guidance there. I didn't have the guidance. It was more of like I'm still trying to do it by myself, trying to love God with no guidance, trying to do it myself. And I had a lot on my mind, a lot of things and emotions that I had not dealt with, and I was trying to deal with them by myself. It was always about me trying to do me trying to do me trying to fix me. But eventually me and that guy, things didn't really work out the way I wanted them to. And a lot of other things were going on as well. I think the dropping out, falling out with friends started taking a toll, and every other things were happening, like health wise and stuff, and trying to find a job. And I had more urges to do so much more with my life, do so much more with myself. I felt like I was not doing enough, and kind of having a bit of an identity crisis. So it really started taking a toll. Eventually it turned into depression, and it started affecting everything, relationships, like family and friends, and even education and stuff. So it was really much. It was too much for me at that time. Like I really understood the word depression, and that can be another story time for another day. But it really became like, for my mind, it was too much. And again, but at the same time, like at that time, I think it was the summer of my first year. I just I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start praying. I started praying loads, started praying for people in my life, praying for different kinds of things, and it was like I had a sense of relief. And I think that's when I actually opened up that door. It was the foundation I needed to for the relationship I was going to have with Christ. However, I did fall again. From that time, it was more of every time I would fall, I would try and rise up after a while. Then I'd fall, then rise up, fall and rise up, fall and rise up, fall and rise up. So it was always like a constant like up and down, up and down. It was really a roller coaster, where I was constantly fighting my spirit and my flesh. They were constantly in battle with each other, constantly. And I really felt like I had to make a choice. I was going through this even mentally. I knew I had to make a choice. I stopped going to the church that I was going to in first year and the start of second year of university. And I then just decided, you know what, I need to find somewhere else to go. So I eventually found another church to go to, because I felt like there was the church I was going to before. I asked for help, especially when I was going through depression. I was seeking help, I was calling out for help, but no one was helping me. And I felt like, not even just no one, but I felt like I needed more for my spiritual growth as well. So I went to another church, and quite frankly, I'm still there, and I love it. I love it so much. I love being there. I've grown so much. I've learnt so much. I have experienced the presence of God so much in these last few months, more than I've ever experienced in my entire life. I feel like I have more, I'm more God conscious. When I know I do, sometimes there are times where I do backslide, but I never stay down there for long like I used to. It will be okay, no, I'm going to stand right back up, because I made that conscious decision that I want to follow Christ properly. God never said that the road would be easy, but he said he will be a guide. It should be, a constant reassurance to Christ that we love him and that we actually want to walk with him. And quite frankly, I made this decision. I don't want to keep walking this walk without him. I have a sense of peace that I'm really content with, and I just love it. I love it so much. And honestly, I can only just encourage others. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, God bless you. If you didn't make it to this, if you didn't watch the end till the end, God will bless you anyways. You won't even see this, but God will bless you anyways. But thank you so much. I would appreciate if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe. You get me? Subscribe to the team.